What is Hawaii? People have all sorts of notions. You hear the word paradise used a lot. People think of the beach at Waikiki, languorous music, coconut palms in the moonlight. But when you rise into the air and get the planetary perspective, when you do this above the Big Island, as people call it, which is the namesake island of the Hawaiian archipelago, you find yourself confronting forces that are almost beyond comprehension. In the middle of the blue desolation of the Earth's largest ocean, a mysterious fissure in our planet's mantle has been spewing magma for millions of years, forming islands. Riding on the slowly drifting Pacific seafloor, these islands move single file continuously to the northwest. Battered every day by the forces of wind, sea, and rain. The main Hawaiian chain comprises the youngest of these islands. The more remote northwest chain is dotted with seamounts and atolls, old islands eroded to the last extremity of existence. We start our journey here, at the very front of this geological trail, here on the island called Hawaii, where our planetary home shows itself, naked and living and unstoppable. Here at Kilauea, the planet discharges molten rock at the rate of 650,000 cubic yards a day. Every day, the lava from Kilauea could repave a highway 20 miles long. And if Kilauea had done that every day since its present eruption began, layer by layer, by now it would have created a lava wall rising 20 miles into the sky. So far, this current eruption has added more than 500 acres of surface area to the Big Island. 5 distinct volcanoes have, over time, welded themselves together to form a single island. 3 volcanoes in the south are still active: Hualalai, Mauna Loa, and this one, Kilauea. Kilauea volcano is still in its infancy. Its current eruption began January 3, 1983, and has flowed continuously since. It is the longest-lived volcanic eruption in recorded history. Hawaii's volcanoes don't explode catastrophically like Mount Vesuvius. They ooze. Called shield volcanoes, they form broad, dome-like mountains. Though lava is 1,000 times more viscous, that is, gooier than water, it can still reach running speeds of 40 kilometers an hour. That's 25 miles per hour. And it can travel as far as 50 kilometers or 30 miles before solidifying. This volcano is the present home of Pele, the tempestuous Hawaiian goddess whom people today still associate with fire and volcanism. Pele is daughter of Haumea, the earth, and she learned her violent ways from her uncle, Lonomakua, the guardian of fire. The priests and poets of pre-contact Hawaii composed epic songs about Pele's search for a home. They say she began with the oldest of the main islands, Kauai, then moved progressively along the path of the hotspot to settle here. In other words, the Hawaiians of old understood the geological history of our islands. Their way of recording that knowledge was in the form of chanted poetry, not written, memorized. Mary Kawena Pukui, a great Hawaiian scholar and native of this region, wrote, "The people of old loved Pele, whose home was their land. They endured her furies and celebrated the drama of creation with which they lived so intimately in the songs and dances of the sacred hula, which dramatized the myth of the woman of the pit and her family, embodied in cloud, thunder, and lightning. The chief figure of their imagination still keeps her house in order here at Kilauea. How big is the Big Island? 4,000 square miles, 63% of the state of Hawaii. But the island we see from above is just a small part of the Big Island's bigness. When you stand on its shoreline, you should realize that the great bulk of this island still lies below you, down under the ocean surface, some 3 or 4 miles. The island we know is just the tip of the iceberg. When considered as a single mountain, the Big Island is greater by far than Mount Everest. When it's this new, the land smokes and radiates heat like a gigantic charcoal grill. The land gives off glassy, tinkly sounds as it cools and stretches. Take a good look at planet Earth in its essence. For once, not masked by living creatures, not molded and mellowed by time, but full of its original cosmic force. Call it star energy. Beneath its brittle, wafer-thin crust, our home planet is fluid and super hot, restless and changing. This is the world we were born for. This is the source of our substance. Is it paradise? It is certainly the beginning. When Pele decides to move into the neighborhood, there isn't a thing on earth you can do about it. Every pond is filled, every hill swallowed, every tree destroyed, every house obliterated, every town gone. The landscape is utterly reborn. And every person who gets dispossessed by Pele is forever afterwards a philosopher. This is not a summit eruption. The lava isn't shooting out of one big hole like a Roman candle. Lava streams out of an ever-changing line of vents along a zone of surface weakness. This zone runs in a line between the summit and the sea, the East Rift Zone. Different vents will open and close as the months go on. Sometimes the fountaining is spectacular. Every day is new as the Earth can be. The only way to see this rare planetary behavior safely is from on high. Pele never takes it all. There are certain forces that stand in opposition. A volcanic eruption may stop, but water never does. The mountain creates its own weather. Cross-ocean winds slam into it and dump rain. It doesn't take long for rainwater to start cutting a canyon, just 1 million years or so. Meanwhile, the ceaseless sea has been chipping the edges off the volcano, and the plants have moved in. and the sea winds are beating against the young cliffs. Salt water, kai, and fresh water, vai, where these two kindred powers meet in the arms of a nurturing grandmother. This landscape is the cradle and dominion of old Hawaii, these cathedral valleys. They were the lucky finds of voyaging Polynesians. Here is your paradise. What would you do to create an enduring and healthy culture in a landscape such as this? It would require more than simply picking fruit off the trees, a lot more. Your single wealth here, besides your own ingenuity, is water, an abundance of water. Two brilliant inventions established the sustainability and sophistication of Hawaiian culture. One of these was the cultivation of kalo, or taro. Kalo is a nutritious food plant that grows in rare circumstances along the banks of streams, actually half in the flowing cool water. The early Hawaiians saw that they could engineer the valley floor into a sequence of flowing ponds called lo'i, and thereby cultivate kalo as their staple crop. The second invention enabled them to link valley to valley in this daunting vertical landscape. It allowed them to trade, to share knowledge, and to explore the islands. The va'a, or canoe, whether paddled or rigged with a sail, empowered Hawaiians to use the open sea as both a highway and a larder, an avenue for unlimited discovery. On the north shore of Hawaii Island, the grandest of these cathedral valleys is Waipi'o. It was the home of storied high chiefs from ancient days. It was where the fabled hero Umi went as a boy to meet his royal father and to claim his chiefly birthright. Before he set out, his mother told him, Waipi'o is a land of plenty. It is a beautiful land to behold from the top of the precipice. You will see the numerous fish ponds and taro patches. The long river there is Wailoa, and on both sides of it are the clusters of houses. This is where Kamehameha the Great was raised and trained in the warrior's arts. This is the heartland of Hawaiian culture. We have watched Pele change, from explosion to serenity, from defiance to surrender, from hot red to fertile green. She has accepted the companionship of living creatures, including more than 1,000 species of plants, over 70 species of endemic birds, and more than 10,000 species of insects that occur only in the Hawaiian Islands. She has allowed the incursions of humankind, the settlements, the battles, the gardens. She won't make it easy, but she does make it intensely real. If you want to know where you are, really, on a planet, in a galaxy, in the physical universe, you can gain a lot of insight from face-to-face encounters with the island called Hawaii.